What up? This is Robert Horry.
Or three-pointer. Buries it!
You might know me as Big Shot Bob.
To Horry for three. Oh, unbelievable. This guy is off the charts.
What's going on, Big Shot Bob?
Robert Horry from downtown.
All right, everybody. Let's call it episode 216 of the Big Shot Bob podcast. That is B-Dog Brandon Harper. My name is Rob Jenners. On the other side of the screen is seven-time NBA champion. His dick's bigger than yours. It's Robert Horry. Pre-show joke. We turn on the stream today and we start chit-chatting, and you're on the phone with your wife about running errands and having probably arguably the same conversation I think I've had with my wife about 500 times. We talked about this last night. You don't listen to shit that I have to say. Why are we having this conversation again? That's a little inside pre-show joke.
Yeah, it's funny because I said I have an 8 o'clock and then I have the podcast at 9 o'clock. So you have to take the dog to puppy school. And then she was like, I thought you were taking the dog to puppy school. I said, no, we had this conversation yesterday.
We talked about this. I can't tell you how many times I've had we've already talked about this conversation with my wife. But
this is the first time ever she'll be like, oh, you're right. So I got to mark this down.
Oh, no, I will roll audio on those. I'll be like, I'll pull up my app and hit record and go, let's go through this one more time. Yeah, I want video evidence of you telling me I was right about something. How are you, man? What's going on?
I'm mad, man. I didn't get a chance to see Game 5, so I didn't get a chance to see it. I had a business dinner, and and then I looked at the score and I was like, oh shit, they got their asses whooped.
Yeah, you didn't get a chance to watch the Halliburton Ofer.
Yeah, that's the first thing I did. I said when I saw the score, I was like, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander must have got a lot of free throws. And I saw first, I was like, damn, Jay Will had a 40 ball?
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah, no, he called out, man.
And then I said, okay, let me see what Halliburton did. I'm like, and then I heard he had a bad calf. So I would say, okay, should I let him slide or not let him slide? Then I looked at the minutes. I'm like, 38 minutes on a bad calf?
Yeah, no, he did. He left the game with the calf injury, came back. Mm-hmm. Do we know he was supposed to have an MRI? Did we see anything on the results of that?
Been diagnosed with a strained calf.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. So do we know if he's going to play Game 6?
I would assume he's going to play because my thing is, if he wasn't going to play, we wouldn't know.
Yeah,
I think we would know by now.
Story. Yeah, you've heard about it.
He's going to fight through it. This is the finals.
Okay.
And, they're on the verge of elimination, so he's going to fight through it.
Then this is it, right? It's all or nothing right now for them. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, Game 5 went exactly how OKC wanted it to go. They held Halliburton to 4 points, and all 4 points were on free throws.
Yep.
0 for 6, I think, from the field.
Something like that.
0 for 4 from 3. 4 free throws for a total of 4 points. And then, like you said, Jalen Williams, 21-year-old Jalen Williams, became the 5th youngest player to drop 40 in an NBA Finals game behind guys like Magic Johnson and a handful of other legends who've done it in their time. But hell of a performance by him.
We talk about SGA, and rightfully so, is the MVP and the leader of that team. But my hat's off to a guy like Jalen Williams. We've seen him emerge this season and play well and be one of the reasons why this team is in the position that they're in. But for him to also have, the 3 straight games of 30-plus points and be in that rare air with Mike and Kobe and guys of that stature, especially at that young of an age, like at 21 years old. Come on, dog. The man is nowhere near his prime. So to be able to step up in this kind of moment like that, hey, man.
Yeah. Props to you.
Hey, man. Yeah. That's different.
So, you think it's a wrap? You think it's done?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think when you saw the collapse of Game 4, I could really tell after that, because you watch Game 4, Indiana should have won that game, and it's all of a sudden it's like you didn't get Halliburton. I thought that's the first coaching mistake Carlisle ever made in a long. He didn't get Halliburton back in the game fast enough. He said, "Okay, I'm gonna ride with this team," and the offense just stalled in Game 4. And next thing you know, SGA, boom, 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 They back in this thing. And to me, after they lost that game at home like that, I look at body language. That is a big key to watching guys when they walk off the court. I'm like, okay, damn, it's a wrap, because they know since we let one slip away, we know we had home court advantage. We just gave it back, and it's a wrap. I thought, and with him being hurt, I just think they probably lose by 15 in game 6.
Part of me wants to agree with you, and then another part of me thinks somehow, some way they're gonna try to get this thing to 7. Now I don't know what Halliburton is gonna look like with a strained calf. I don't know what he'll be able to fight through. But one thing we do know about this Pacers team is they've gotten too far just to roll over. And something tells me that there's going to be a level of fight in them Thursday night to where they may end up taking this thing back to OKC for games. Now, Game 7 in OKC, I believe OKC is going to win this series. But I don't believe that the Pacers at home in a Game 6, as hobbled as they may be with Halliburton, something tells me that they're going to fight, and they're going to have enough power to fight to get this thing to a Game 7 back in OKC.
I would like to see it go 7.
Something is telling me that, because ideally, you would think with the hobbled Halliburton, OKC advantage. Yes, absolutely. Something in me deep down in my core is telling me.
Because they've done it.
Yeah.
Because they've done it the whole postseason. There's something, again, like I said, I'm going to pick against the Pacers because the Pacers have turned it around on me at every corner this postseason. So, yeah, go ahead. Pick OKC in Game 6. And like you said, Harp, watch Indiana come out.
They're going to fight.
And find a way to win by 10.
Yeah, they're going to fight, but then they're going to, they're going to throw that left hook and not duck, and that right uppercut going to take them out. And I'm just saying, because I just feel like once you get to 3 wins and you 1 win away, it's this energy that hits you, that adrenaline hits you, and when you can only go 5 miles per hour, you're going to be able to go 7. So I think OKC is going to knock them out the box, Rick. Knock them out the box.
Knock them out. I like that. Nice children's story reference. Knock them out the box, Rick. To your note about Game 4, Shea scored 15 of his fourth quarter points in the final 5 minutes of that game. The most points in the final 5 minutes of the regulation game of an NBA Finals since 1971. So, yeah, he came out. He found his stride late. And to your point, I feel like Game 4 was the turning point everyone was sort of expecting. Because from the start of the series, everybody's like, well, OKC's the better team. They've got the better roster. They've had the better performances all year. And they've been more consistent than Indiana. They're not as much of a roller coaster. And they hadn't really kind of found their stride. But by the end of Game 4, you kind of had that feeling like, all right, it feels like this is the OKC everyone was waiting for. And by the end of Game 5, it was like, all right, yeah, they're there now. And they're this close, man. They're this close. And to your point, when you're 1 win away, you run a little faster, you jump a little higher. You know what I mean? You got a little bit more in your step. So, I don't know. I would like to see it go 7. I really would.
I would too.
I don't know. I mean, I'm waiting to see what Indiana has with a hobbled Halliburton. Like, what does Carlisle have up his sleeve? What's his rotation going to look like? Who's going to step up? Who's going to come? I mean, McConnell's been off the rails for them as far as a step-up guy. So I don't, who's gonna be the breakout star of Game 6 if Indiana has any shot?
If OKC is the killer that we think they are, and they smell the blood in the water that they should do it. It's just something about a dog that has his back against the wall.
They have found a way.
Yeah, and then also I'm gonna jump on the Pacers bandwagon for a second. And if you think, I just looked at Nembhard and Halliburton together scored a total of 11 points. You can't have that out of your starting backcourt.
That ain't going to do it. Yeah.
It ain't going to do it. So, and I think Nembhard, he's been, putting out a lot of effort on trying to guard SGA. So I know that's why his score is probably going to be down. But it's going to be interesting. I want Indiana to take this to a Game 7 just to make it interesting. I want everybody to be healthy because I hate when you get to the finals and someone's injured because you don't really get I feel like the true champion is not, shown because the other team was hobbling. Who knows? You could have a star play and you can still get your ass whooped. But It's gonna be a good game though. And I think overall, I think for people who love basketball, every game that I've seen, except for game 5, I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed the game. So for basketball people who love to watch pure basketball and watch good defense, not a lot of BS calls, it's been a good series.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this because this is going to be the storyline. We already know what it's going to be. I'm surprised the talks ain't started already.
Uh-oh.
If OKC wins this series, which I believe they will, the talk of the town is going to be if Halliburton was healthy, how would this series would have turned out? And I'm going to go ahead and dispel all this now before the narrative start and before all the national news start to run their mouth. First Take starts to have full-on 2-3 segments on it and whatnot. I'm going to say this here and I'm going to say it here and right now. I don't care how healthy the Pacers were. Now, they fighters, like I just said. But I believe the fact that they're getting this to a Game 6 and possibly even a Game 7 proves that. We've seen what they've been able to do. But I don't care if Halliburton was healthy. OKC was favored to win this series. I just think they're a better team, and they're just better. I think this is just their moment. So whether Halliburton was healthy or not, I'm going to dispel it all. This is their moment. OKC was going to win it regardless. Let's go ahead and put that to bed before it even wakes up.
Well, I mean, he was healthy in Game 2. He was healthy in Game 4.
Yeah,
and those were 2 games where they got punched in the face by OKC because OKC, to your point, was the better team. So, yeah, no, look, I think everybody expected OKC to win this series going in. When you look at the way that OKC's played this season, here's your point, ready? If OKC wins this title, it would give them 84 total wins on the season, tied with the 97 Bulls, and just 4 wins behind the NBA record, which is held by the 2016 Warriors with 88. So they are, on paper, when you look at the numbers, when you look at the way they've played, and you look at what they've done all season, they are the better team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can shout and moan all you want about Halliburton. OKC was the better team all year. They were the better team so far in this series. Mm-hmm. They've shown it in the last couple of games, and I don't know. I don't understand that narrative.
But you know where this is going to go. We know where it's going to go. We can go ahead and foresee this happening because obviously networks need something to talk about.
Oh, of course they do.
And they need to conjure up stuff. So I'm telling you, would it have been different if Halliburton would have been fully healthy?
Shut up.
Go ahead and just brace yourself for it because it's going to happen.
OKC would also set the record as the youngest team to ever win a title as far as age of the roster. So,
yeah.
A lot of milestones for them if they get it done. And
yeah, a lot of milestones.
I think you're right, Harp. I think it's just their time. I think it's OKC's time. I really do. But Indiana has given them a hell of a fight so far. So
no,
I would love to see them push it to 7. I would.
It's been a bloodbath, but eventually, hey, somebody got to win it.
Do you want to talk about the Desmond Bain trade? That was I don't know. I've seen a lot of weird mixed opinions on this one. And I don't know enough about Desmond Bain to have any kind of real, solid, informed take on this, but I'll give you the specifics here. He was traded to the Magic. In return, the Grizzlies got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and 1 first-round pick swap.
Which is the 16th overall pick in this year. Was last year's draft or this year's draft?
I think it's this year's.
This year's draft.
Orlando is sending Memphis the number 16 pick in the 2025 NBA draft. Phoenix's first-round pick in 2026, the Magic's 2028 first-round pick, and Orlando's 2030 unprotected pick. The pick swap is likely the protected pick for 2029. All of this for Desmond Bain. So has he been enough of a guy for Memphis to demand that kind of trade capital? Because I was a little thrown by that.
Go ahead and take this, Rob, because I know where we're going with it.
I was like, damn, KD. I'm like, well, he got a lot of shit for him. I'm like, don't get me wrong. Bane is a hell of a player, but he ain't 4 draft picks and then 2 other picks. Maybe one.
And KCP and Cole Anthony as well.
And I know they were kind of tired of Cole Anthony down in Orlando, and because it's up and down. And KCP, he's one of those guys that you look at, you can oh, he's not that, he's not this, but he's a glue guy. He's a guy that when you got a guy on the defensive end, I mean, on offensive, you need to go guard him. That's what KCP. And I know KCP. I think he's like 32 now, which I was shocked. He's a little older, and I was like, okay, but still, they got a lot for Desmond Bain, and he's a hell of a player. But 4 picks, I'm like, sheesh. I'm like, who else? The last person got what was Paul George got that many picks?
Well, yeah, I think it was Paul George, and then who was the other one?
No, we can go somewhere very recent.
Oh,
how many picks did Mikal Bridges go for?
Yeah, Bridges was the other one.
6, or something like that.
Now, how much better of a player is Mikal Bridges than Desmond Bain?
I'll take, I love Mikal Bridges, so I'll take Mikal Bridges before I take Desmond Bain.
Right, but do we think that Mikal Bridges is worth 5 first-round picks?
Probably not.
Do you want to know why they traded those 4 first-round picks?
You only got 1 for Luka. 1.
Well, that's different because Anthony Davis is a part of that trade.
But still,
that's different.
Still.
Here's the thing. They had to do everything they possibly could to offload that KCP contract, which was a bad contract to them because he had his worst year. Some people say as a professional in Orlando.
What was probably his biggest deal, yeah.
So they had to they had to really sweeten that pot. One, you got to match salaries. And Desmond Bain just got a 5-year, $200 and some odd million salary last offseason or a couple of off seasons ago. So he got broke off. Yeah. So that salary ain't small either. So matching up the salaries plus knowing good and doggone well, hey, if we got to get this bad contract of KCP up out of here, we're going to have to attach some things to this. So it was this was more so of an offload of that KCP deal, more probably than anything. Now, you get Desmond Bain back, which is a good pick. Guy is one of the best shooters in basketball when he's on it. And they needed another scorer on the perimeter. Cool. But this was an offload of KCP.
If you really look at KCP's contract, that's the average around the league. He's only getting $21 million.
Yeah, but they thought it was too hefty for what they weren't getting from him.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I get that.
Well, and Orlando needs to add pieces to make this thing, to bring, and we talked about this several weeks ago.
Right.
That now for Orlando, it's about what can you add to the mix of Paolo and on the guys you currently have to kind of take the next step up.
And he the oldest one on the floor.
I guess it's true. For me, the only thing that caught me off guard, I didn't know Memphis was trying to kind of move pieces out of Memphis at the moment, because I was like, they kind of had a little bit of a bounce back season. They didn't really perform in the postseason, but they got Ja back. They looked like they kind of refound their rhythm a little bit with him back in the lineup, and I thought they were going to try and move forward with what they had. I didn't know they were trying to unload.
Rob, what are they going to do with Ja now? Because this is a rebuild. Of some degree.
Well, is
when
it?
You think about it, Desmond Bain, the second leading scorer. Okay. He is one of the. He's like a semi-enforcer for them. He kind of protects Ja. Now Ja has no protectors. Adam's gone. Now
Isn't that what Jaren Jackson's supposed to be?
No, Jaren Jackson ain't no protector, man. He's not an enforcer. He's a 3-point shooting big, who blocks for shots, and he's not really.
Defender.
Yeah. And so now you got to look at. You need to replace that, and I think. Sometimes teams feel like you got too many, chefs in the kitchen, and Bane needs shots, Ja needs shots, Triple J needs shots. Now you go with KCP, who don't need shots, and now you can really work through those two guys more. And I know that sounds weird, but coaches are stupid and coaches are weird, and so this might be the route that they're going. And who knows? They might know something what they're getting in the draft. What draft pick do they have?
Like, are you talking about Memphis? I'm not sure.
Memphis.
Oh, I don't. They got
like a top 15 pick, right?
Yeah, I think so. They got back the number 16 pick.
Yeah,
as part of this deal.
I'm trying to figure.
But I don't know where their pick is. I would imagine.
Yeah, who's
going to
drop low enough? Like, who knows what they're doing, man?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand it.
Yeah, and since the late great Jerry West has left Memphis, nobody knows what the hell they fired a coach who was coach of the year, who had a good season.
Yep.
That's a head scratcher.
Yeah, a lot of questions there.
Hey, they might be trying to tank so they can move the fucking team out of Memphis to Vegas. I don't know.
You know what? Part of my conspiracy theory brain went, is this on purpose to try and? No. Now, here's what I'll tell you. You move Triple J or you move Ja Morant.
Yeah.
Well, now you're starting to really put my tinfoil hat on a little more. Because there's odds in Vegas up right now If Ja Morant is on the move next, the odds have the Raptors as the head of the pack to get Ja Morant, along with the Kings, Nets, Heat, and the Portland Trailblazers. Where are the odds? These are the odds leading favorites in Vegas. Doesn't mean it's where he's going to go.
The Heat are involved in every
They ain't got shit down there.
Yeah, but dang, boy, but these are franchises where, like, the Heat have had their moment. Their time is done. So these are just franchises where I know they have the space, but if you're a guy like Ja and wants to go somewhere to win. That's the thing about the league. You either go somewhere they got the money, which is fine, get your bread, or the teams that are competitive and want to contend don't have enough or what probably teams will want in order for you to go there. Yeah. So I don't want to say you're stuck in between a rock and a hard place.
It's a catch-22.
Right.
It's what we talk about all the time. Do you spend the money? Do you go over the cap? Do you go into the luxury tax? Is it worth it? Do you have the ability to do that? Like, that's where I laugh every time people go, "Oh, Kevin Durant's really looking at the Celtics." Are you kidding me? The Celtics don't have. There's no way the Celtics could pay him. I mean, you would have to unload mountains of salary to even have a shot at that.
Well, you would first have to. Yeah, you would definitely unload one of the two.
Yeah, you would have. Yeah, either JB or Tatum. One of the two have got to go.
Well, you have to get rid of Derek White and Porzingis, and nobody wants Porzingis.
No, I've seen that all over the place. People looking at Porzingis doing their I'm like, yeah, okay.
Nobody wants Porzingis. He stay hurt.
Yeah, he's never healthy. A shout out to WB Rick on Twitter who posted, "I just tried to put the trade for Desmond, Bane, and 4 picks into my 2K franchise, and my Xbox fucking blew up."
That was the funniest shit.
That was my favorite tweet of the week. That was my favorite tweet of the week.
Christian said, because he was here for Father's Day, and he told me about that. I started laughing my ass off.
Yeah, I retweeted that earlier. That was my favorite tweet of the week.
Hey, man, we're getting to a point with the salaries and the contracts the way they are. This isn't just at one point in time, a trade like this would be a superstar. It was like, oh, dang, KD or somebody is attached to this. Yeah. But now you're having, up-and-coming guys and good guys that are not looked at as franchise players but are looked at as good pieces. Mm-hmm. And with them getting $35, $40 million, that's the new price for guys like this now. It's not just a superstar level price anymore for those guys. Now you're having mid-level guys and good glue guys going for that rate. So that's where the league is going.
Yeah, but I think sometimes people look, NBA is a copycat league. Mm-hmm. You think about the triangle, you think about shooting threes, you think about dominant big men. So now it's a copycat league. Everybody wants picks. You see what Boston was able to do and build that team. OKC
knocking on the door of a title, rebuilt from
So everybody's doing it. So now you want picks. But let's look at the last 3 years in the NBA.
Yeah, but picks don't, and not to interrupt you, picks don't mean anything unless you have the right picks.
And that's what I was going to say. It don't mean shit because you think about Zion Williams, great player, can never stay on the court. Mm-hmm. And then you think about Chet, when he got number 2 pick, hurt. You think about, look at what's going on with your favorite player down in San Antonio. Hurt.
Wembenyama. Your favorite player? That's good. I like that. Yeah.
But you think about all these picks, and I'm gonna go back to the guy from Alabama, San Antonio, pulling his fucking dick out for his therapist. Gone.
Hold on, wait.
Yeah, you lost me on that one, but it's funny.
You remember the guy that San Antonio drafted at Alabama? I can't remember his name. He wasn't even a fucking starter at Alabama. So San Antonio takes a chance and draft him in a top 10 pick, and he got kicked off the team because he showed his private parts to the therapist. Then they traded him somewhere. He ain't even fucking league now. And it's like, you take a chance. The NBA is taking all these picks. When you take these picks, you're going to take chances on these young and dumb guys who don't have any maturity because they've never been taught maturity because they've been handed everything.
Josh Primo.
Josh Primo. That's him.
Primo.
So let's think about it. Let's think about what Ace Bailey is doing now. You hear about what he's doing?
He's canceling all workouts.
Yeah. And then even his representative said, he cannot do interviews unless he's getting paid for them. It's like all these things now, these young dudes are, I don't know where they're getting this idea that they're better than sliced bread. Yeah. And they're coming in this league with these inflamed egos, and they hadn't even fucking, done anything.
And one more thing added to Ace Bailey. He wants a clear path to stardom. That was also in that as well. He wants a clear path, be in a place where there is a clear path, and I put those things in air quotes, to stardom.
What does that even mean?
Talk to his representatives.
Hold on, let me scratch my head with both hands. That's some monkey ass shit right there.
Like, what, do you mean you want to be on a team that doesn't have another superstar? Is that your goal so you can be that guy? Or you have to be a featured piece on a contending team? Like, what are you looking for when you say that?
Well, my thing is
clear path to stardom doesn't even make any sense.
Ace Bailey is at what, Rutgers?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did we hear a lot from him? I mean, I know Rutgers played well this year, but did he play the whole season? I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
He played.
I don't even know.
Yeah, he had a couple 30 balls. He played really well. Him and Dylan Harper.
Yeah, that's right. Dylan Harper's over there too.
Yeah,
that's right.
Mm-hmm. It's particularly 1, 2, like him and Dylan 2 and 3.
Yeah. Number 2.
But it's to me, it's like it's. I think the way to solve all this stuff and slap some maturity into these guys coming into the league. Now, I'm not saying every guy is not mature. You can see what, Cooper Flag, he has a maturity about himself when he plays. You see Dylan Harper has a maturity about him because of the old soul and the way he was brought up. And you got, and I don't know Ace Bailey, but I'm just saying you can tell from a lot of guys. I'm gonna just go back to Primo, and they come out of college way too early. They're not ready, and so the NBA and the GMs need to really take a step back. Says we gotta stop taking chances on these guys. We're like, we drafted on potential. What happened to the days when you drafted on fucking grit? A guy could just flat out ball and you knew what they could do. And that's why, because you said, okay, we got to do it now because they're coming out 1 year college and done. So it's just a crazy world we live in now.
And to your point, when you hang everything on the future of your franchise on picks, you better make the right picks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you better do some homework.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you screen a guy to go, if you're in a massage therapy session, you gonna take your dick out? Like, I don't think that question's on the paper. You know what I mean? So but you have to be able to gauge who these guys are a little bit. And I think too, when you see guys like Anthony Edwards, who we all I think are very big on Ant-Man. Mm-hmm. When you see him come out early and do what he's done in the league, I think people look at that, especially these young guys, and go, see, that's what I want. I want to do that. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, yeah, but not everybody's Anthony Edwards. Not everybody's going to end up in the right situation to do what he did. Not everybody's going to have the success he had early on, and not. It's just those are fluke scenarios. But I think people look at them and go, especially these young guys, and go, all right, I want to do what he did. It's like, well, yeah, sure, of course, everyone wants to do what he did, but not everybody's Ant-Man.
Yeah, I think we need to ask AI. AI is taking over now. Like the last 5 years, take the top 20 picks and see how many are doing well compared to how many aren't doing well.
Yeah. Look, let's be honest. Everything that these guys want, most of the stuff is contingent on you. Like Ant-Man is, not you, them per se.
Well,
Ant-Man is, he's the number one pick, but Ant-Man is Ant-Man because Ant-Man know how to play. Mm-hmm. Like he works hard. That is why he is in the position he's in, regardless of when you're drafted. Kobe was the 13th pick overall in the 96 draft. Even though he was a first round pick, he didn't come into the league as what we know him to be, but Kobe had the work ethic. And then Kobe became the megastar that we all know him to be, God rest his soul, in the Hall of Famer. So regardless of where you draft, whether you're the number one pick or you're the 30th pick, like, go into the league and do what you got to do, because your stardom is not based off where you're drafted. Yeah, some guys have the hype when they come into the league. Zion had it. Where is he?
All right, over the last, I did a Google AI search. Over the last 5 years, here's what it gave me back. The 2020 draft class, Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey, and Jaden McDaniels are your top performers.
Ooh, that's a good, what's that, 5?
That's 20. It's 5 out of the 2020 class who have had solid performances. 2021 class, you'll notice these numbers start to slowly dwindle. Scotty Barnes faced the league. Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, Franz Wagner, and Sengun. Okay, that's a good group of 5, right? Top performers. 2022 class, it only spit out 3, but the 3 it spit out were pretty good. Paolo Banchero, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams. So those were all top 20 picks. 2023 draft class, Wembanyama, Brandon Miller, Scoot Henderson, Amon Thompson, and Usher Thompson.
Scoot.
That's Scoot. Scoot done went into an abyss.
Yep.
Brandon Miller is
Hurt.
Yeah.
Wemby's been good, but hurt.
Well, Wemby is different. He's the huge face.
2024, it threw me 3, and I don't know how much I believe in the 3 it gave me. Ricochet, Alex Sarr, and Reed Shepherd. Those were the 3 it spit out as the top performers of the 2024 draft class. Ricochet had a good year. I didn't hear anything on Shepherd or Sarr. Like practically,
He spent most of the year in the G League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you can see, the return on some of these top 20 picks over the last few years has gotten worse and worse.
Well,
now you've had some better groups of guys to pick.
But
from.
that was the bad draft, though, they said.
Yeah, that was the one that you didn't want the number 1 pick, and the Hawks, of course, got the number 1.
It's got number 1 pick.
Let me ask you a question in regards to the Desmond Bain of it all. Everything they got back for him. Does this move the value of Kevin Durant in any direction? Because if you got this much for Desmond Bain, and I've heard tons of reports that the Suns are not thrilled with any of the offers they're getting for Kevin Durant, because I don't think that people want to spend or don't have the ability to spend. And then there's all this stuff too about him, like he wants to go to New York. New York didn't want him. Minnesota wanted him, but he didn't want to go to Minnesota under any circumstances, I guess, which pissed Ant-Man off. So does this move the needle at all on Durant because of that trade, or do you think it's just kind of par for the course for him?
I think, to me, when you know someone wants to be traded and you know the franchise is trying to trade someone, I ain't going to give you what you want because you already told me, like, hey, we got to get rid of this dude. So I'm like, before, if you wouldn't have said that, I would offer you 5 pieces. Now I know I'm only going to offer you maybe 2 to 3 pieces. And I think that's what everybody's doing. Like, and then you got to think about how many more years does KD have?
That's the thing.
And, Desmond Bain probably got 8 more years. KD probably got 3 more years. I hope more because I love to watch him play.
Well, Desmond Bain's still in his 20s.
Yeah, I'm just saying, though.
He got longer than that.
Kevin Durant's, what, 38?
37?
37?
Yeah. I said 8 years is a long time in the league, though.
Yeah, but
Is.
hopefully. I think he'll make it a little past. Hey, he's still in his 20s. I think he's still in his early 20s, too. Let me check.
I would say 24, 25.
Still, so you barely entered your prime.
Yeah. The top destinations remain for Durant, the Houston Rockets, the Spurs, and the Heat. Of those 3, do you think one of them is a better fit for him? Rockets, Spurs, Heat, all things aside, what do you think would be the best spot for him?
I look at the Spurs. I don't think with Wemby, Fox, that he really fits in that dynamic.
Why not?
Because you just saw that dynamic kind of in Phoenix with 2 other top scorers who don't do anything defensively. It kind of puts the pressure on him to be the best defensive player on that team. I'm talking about Wemby's a good defender.
I'm like, Wemby's a great defender. What the hell are you talking about?
I was talking about Phoenix,
okay.
Yeah, but I don't see with Fox and Wemby sharing the basketball with him. I don't think that's a really good fit. And I really like the Miami fit because you got pieces that kind of know how to play together with bad situation. Meaning, like, you think about how, if you really look at Miami Heat, they overachieve. And how well they play, they overachieve. And now you bring in a KD that's, okay, we got a guy that can take the pressure off. Now Hero can get his shots off. Everybody else can play with their role. And I just think it fits better because you're losing that piece already with Butler. Now it's like you kind of take Butler out who's not there and you bring in KD, and it kind of like keeps moving. Okay. So, and I think the Houston Rockets is like, they got a good team. Everybody said, well, they missed a piece. No, they're missing some maturity. And I just think for the Houston Rockets are the next OKC in the sense that they have all these draft picks, they have all these young pieces, and we still trying to put it together. Now you bring in a KD, and we got to defer, and it takes away from the Sagoon. It takes away from the Jalen because you probably had to get rid of Jalen. So I just like the Orlando. I mean, I keep saying Orlando. Like the Heat fit.
I think the Spurs would be a really good fit for him. I just don't think he'll end up there because I don't think the Spurs are willing to give up a lot for KD because of what you said earlier. How long is he going to play?
Yeah.
You know, when you're trying to pair somebody with somebody like Wemby and even pairing them with, De'Aaron Fox, guys who are still, young. Durant is what 9, 10 years older than De'Aaron Fox. So he's we know how much older he is than Wemby. So you're talking about trading for a guy and giving up assets for a guy who's only probably going to play, a few more years? Maybe? Depending on how he feels, and if he feels as though, well, I can't go nowhere to win, so let me just retire or whatever. So my thing is, I don't know if I want to give up the necessary assets it's going to take to bring a guy in that's not going to give me any less than 5 years. Especially for that team and how young they are. Now,
but here's the question, interrupt you.
Go ahead.
As a Suns franchise, what off that team do you want?
From
Houston?
No, off of San Antonio.
Outside of Devin Booker?
no, I'm talking about no.
What would the Spurs give KD, up to move him?
If you're the Suns and you giving up KD to the Spurs, tell me what off that roster, what do you want?
You're going to want...
you can't take Fox because...
No, you're going to have to take, what's his name, Vassell?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, all right. Yeah.
What's the other guy?
I don't even know what else they have on that roster.
Castle.
They gonna
Spurs already said they ain't giving up Castle.
Well, then Kevin Durant won't be a Spur.
That's my point. They have, even though the same thing with Miami. Miami don't have shit to give up. None of these teams have shit to give up. That you gonna say, okay, I'm gonna get rid of KD for a box of rocks and some marbles.
And him going to Miami don't move nothing. I don't think so. Look, I think him. Yeah, he plays with Bam, but I think he's just going to grow frustrated there with Pat Riley. He going to grow frustrated with Pat Riley, as every other superstar has, because if it's not Pat's way, it's no way. So at some point in time, somebody like Kevin Durant, who is more sensitive than most stars, like I always say, when everything goes well, it's him. When things aren't going the way they're supposed to, somehow, some way, it ain't him. So I can see that friction happening at some point in time, and it's not going to turn out too well. I just don't see him moving the needle. I see him going to a situation where, okay, y'all gonna make a little noise. They're not winning the title.
I don't see him going anywhere, to be honest with you.
Well, and that's the other part of it is everybody said, well, now that the market, like if the Spurs aren't going to get anything of value back for him, and there's people like Tim Bontemps saying now that the sources around the league are saying he's not going to demand or command the amount of draft picks that even Desmond Bane did in the move that they made. So if you're not even going to get that, what value does this have for Phoenix, except for the fact that he doesn't want to be there?
Come on to Atlanta. I say that for selfish purposes, because if you want to put more butts in the seats.
We had Charles Barkley on the air last week going, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life.
That's fine. Whatever.
All right.
And look, love Charles, but whatever. If you want to shake some stuff up and put some more butts in the seat and at least make the fans think you're trying to do something.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Come on to Atlanta.
Dupe him.
Because my thing is, the places that he could go, we thought he could do something in Phoenix with Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. Oh, the big three all over again.
I didn't.
You're right. I didn't either, because they had no depth. But that's what was the perception around the league. Oh, they're going to get together and do everything. They did nothing. They played like 4 games together.
I'm going to tell you where they should go. This is the trade they should do. If I'm the Clippers, I'm like, okay, James Harden, I'm not signing you back. I'm like, okay, can I get KD in here? And Chris Paul, come on back to the Clippers. Play one more year. I got Chris Paul. I got KD, and we going for it. I got to get Ty Lue some fucking some ammo, man.
Just go get Blake Griffin too out of retirement. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about?
But I'm talking about, if you want to compete for a championship, if you think about the teams that he could go for where he can immediately like try to win a championship, you think about the teams. You think about the teams that KD could go to that could probably fit in, who can win a championship. Gonna go back to Golden State? Nope, they got Jimmy Butler now. You gonna go to the Lakers? Nope. You gonna go to the Rockets? They ain't got no. Dallas. We hadn't talked about. You could fit in for Dallas, but what does Dallas have to offer?
Phoenix is gonna want that. They're gonna want number 1 pick.
No, yeah.
So
that's where the conversation is going to start, and
they're
that's where
not
it's
going
going
to
to
do that. But they're not. There's no way they do that.
You're right.
Nico Harrison should burn his own house down if they do that. I mean, like, because what are you talking about? If you move the number 1 pick for Kevin Durant?
Yeah. You know what place would be great? I would love to see him, man, to be honest with you, to see how crazy. Send his ass out to Denver. Let him and Jokic team up together.
God. Well, I mean, look, Westbrook found some success there in a different kind of role. I mean, and that's the other part of this, too, is Kevin Durant going to get to this point in his career where he's going to have to accept that. He's going to have to accept it. Not that we don't know that it isn't the truth, but he has to accept it that he's not the guy.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to fit in somewhere. You're gonna have to do what Russ did. You're gonna have to, and what Harden even did to an extent with the Clippers this year. You're gonna have to find a role where you're gonna go, when I have my opportunities, I'm gonna take them. But otherwise, I gotta find a way to fit in with the guys that are here and not try to be the man.
Yeah, it's about that time. And it sucks because he has the man talent. Like his ability.
He always has, yes.
Right. But even at this age, he still has I'm the man talent. It's just you've exhausted that in so many places thus far to where now we're looking like, bro, it's not even about the talent. It's just you got to find somewhere to go to win where you're not burning bridges in a sense, because you ain't got but so many bridges to burn before you go around and be like, damn, I ain't got another way over.
Here's the question: Is he trying to play, or is he trying to win a championship? You know, because sometimes when you win your championship, you're trying to get your paper, and he got his paper. So at this point in his career, is he just trying to play and win, or is he just trying to just
both? BOF,
both. BOF. And I was gonna kind of spin that question to you as sort of the same way you spun it to us. Is it important for him to win a championship outside of the 2 Golden State rings? Because people still dangle that over him to go, well, you lost to Golden State, then you went to Golden State with one of the best teams in the league, and you won 2 titles. Okay, fine. Can you win without Steph and Clay and Draymond Green and all the pieces you had around you at Golden State? Do you think that's important to him? Do you think he feels like he needs to cap off his career with a ring that he got on, almost, I want to say got on his own, but he was one of the key pieces to get it?
Yeah. I think for me, I'm KD. I want to go somewhere where I'm fighting for a championship. You know, I'm like, okay, let me go to Dallas. Because I know Kyrie, we teamed up, we tried it once. I know you're not going to probably be back this season, but I got like 2 to 3 seasons left, where I'm playing at, the upper echelon. Let me go to Dallas. So for me, that team, unless you can somewhere get to Denver, because I think the bridge is burned in Golden State. I know he's not going to come to L.A.
No, he's not.
So you think about the teams where you could literally win a championship. I don't think he's talking about the Pacers. He don't really fit in with the Pacers because him and Siakam are the same.
I mean, Houston had a great year.
Yeah, Houston had a great year.
Houston had a great year. So if maybe you kind of find a way for him to fit in with that, and you have to move a piece to make it happen, I don't think Houston's a bad option. I really don't.
I just think it's tough. I think he's in a tough situation where. This is the reason why when you have the opportunity.
Houston has picks too. Sorry to interrupt you. Houston has picks. They got some picks. Yeah.
This is why I think it's so important. And yes, they were young when they got to the finals when they played Miami in 2012. But
so was Miami.
They were they did too. They just happened to have that man on their side, and LeBron. It's important to at times salvage and take advantage of those situations when you have them, because if they would have beat Miami in those finals, the conversation about KD that we're having will be completely
100%,
different.
100%.
Because we wouldn't be sitting up there saying, well, can he win one as the man? Because we knew he was the man on that team. No disrespect to Russ and no disrespect to James Harden, who was the 6th man. But he was the best player on that team. If he'd have won then, the whole conversation around KD would be completely different. But that's taking advantage of the opportunities.
If he'd have won there, he would have never went to Golden State, though.
Probably.
And that's probably the other part of it.
Well, at least not when he did.
Right. Maybe in a different capacity. But I mean, he'd shown a propensity to move around anyway. So who knows where the journey would have taken him had he gotten that title.
Right. And I'm not mad at him for going.
No, of
I'm
course
not mad at him
not.
for going Golden State. He did what he felt as though he had to do. Whatever comes with the narrative of you playing next to Steph Curry and Klay Thompson
You
and
got two
whatever.
rings, man.
You deal with it. You got 2 rings out of it. Because I'm going to be honest with you. They needed, even though they won one without you, it's hard for me to believe and say that they didn't need you as well. Literally, he was the best player on that floor. And that's the dynamic with KD. Talent-wise, he's always the best. But he does need a guy or two next to him in order to get over that hump. And that's been the thing.
Well, yeah, and he had more than that in Golden State.
Yeah.
He had a lot more than that at Golden State at his disposal. All right, well, we'll see how that shakes out. A couple more quick stories, then we'll do Big Shot of the Week. And this week's game, by the way, is called Ofer. Tribute to Tyrese Halliburton's Game 5. No, it's not making fun of Tyrese. It's just talking about some of the more upsetting performances in big games. All right, Rockets to the Rockets of it all. The Rockets re-signed Steven Adams. He got a 3-year, $39 million contract extension. He stays there. It seems like a lot of people were pointing it at the Lakers as like that was a piece that they were going to try and pursue.
I heard about that too.
But obviously he locks up to stay in Houston. Rob's shaking his head no, that the Lakers were not interested in Steven Adams. So then we got to see what LA decides to do as far as trying to find a big. Did you want to get into the Giannis the underachiever conversation?
I ain't
Not
trying to have
really.
that combo.
I did want to just give credit, at least then we won't play the audio, to Jay Williams, who got on First Take and told Stephen A. that's one of the dumbest things he's ever said on network television, which to his point, yeah, very, very true. All right, let's do Big Shot of the Week, and then we'll play our game. Big Shot of the Week is going to go to Texas Roadhouse, the restaurant.
Roadhouse.
Love Texas Roadhouse. They did something actually really, really cool. A guy named Hunter Metzger, who's a Pennsylvania resident, placed an order at his local Texas Roadhouse for his family's 8-year-old Great Dane that they were having to put down. And he wrote on the order, please prepare with love, last meal for our dog. The dog got an 8-ounce, thick-cut New York strip steak, steak fries, mashed potatoes, and freshly baked bread. That dog ate like a king on their last day on this planet.
Better than 90% of people.
I tell you what, but after preparing the meals, staff members wrote a note of condolence on the receipt and wrote on the top of the compartment and said, made with love. And then when he came to pick it up, like half the staff came to the back to meet him and give him a hug. And then he came back, Metzger came back for his birthday, went to Texas Roadhouse, and the entire staff sat down with that man and ate dinner with him, and he got to share stories about his dog. And it turned into like this huge, awesome tribute to his pup, which he had to make the horrible decision of putting down because she'd reached the end of her life. So I just thought that was dope on the part of Texas Roadhouse to go, all these staff members, and you know this, when you have an animal, that's such a hard part of having an animal, is having to make the decision because they're such a part of your family. And they made this a little bit better for this guy. So a big shout of the week to Texas Roadhouse.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I really like dogs. All sort. Seeing people with their dog, and if it's a dog I've never seen before, how old is he or she, or what kind of dog is this, and things. I really and that's the tough thing about having a dog, especially somebody who does want a bigger dog one day. Is that the con of that is because they come with so many health issues depending
especially
on the
Great
breed.
Danes. Oh man.
The thought of somebody said it's tough having a dog because you realize one day you're gonna spend more time grieving them than you're gonna spend actually with them, and that's tough for people who are animal lovers and who are dog lovers who have ingratiated these animals into their family. Like, you enjoy them while they can, but man, that's a tough moment when it comes about when you're saying that, dang, these are literally their final days. And I think it comes from the fact that dogs really are better than people. Dogs are loyal. No, I'm gonna be honest with you. I love people.
You're not wrong.
Some people.
Some people.
You're
Right.
not wrong. Actually, let's make that most people.
Look, as people, and we're the smartest species out there in the world, dogs have such a forgiving spirit. Like, you can yell at your dog one moment, and then like 2 minutes later, your dog can come cuddle up under you like nothing happened. You yell at a human being, they don't talk to you for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's just the spirit of a dog. They're very loyal. They're dope animals, and it's tough when you ingratiate them in your family, and when it's time for them to go and it's time for it to call it quits, that's a tough thing to deal with for a lot of people. You know,
I mean, we're all dog people. We've all had dogs.
Yeah, it's tough.
You know, we know that. We know that place. It sucks.
It's weird because I wasn't a dog person. I'm like, because I travel so much. When you travel a lot, you really don't have time for the dogs.
Yeah.
And I've always liked dogs, but it's like dogs like grandkids. You know, you need, oh, I love you. Now go back to your mom. Go back to your dad.
Right.
All right, so I can have my freedom. You know, so even now I'm learning that with the new puppy. I'm like, man, this dude. He's wearing my ass out. I gotta take him outside to pee when he runs in the bushes. I gotta say, man, come on here. He don't want to come in.
No,
so
he's got puppy energy, man. Puppy energy is unmatched, man. They don't want to slow down. They don't want to stop. They want to chew on everything.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But then they hit that. It's usually like 2 years, 2.5 years, as they kind of hit that plateau where they're like, all right, I'm gonna calm my ass down for a while.
Yeah, I know this. I gotta replace a lot of baseboards in my house now because of this new puppy. I walked around the corner the other day. I'm like, motherfucker! He done ate up all the little.
Our neighbor's chargers. They can't keep phone chargers out. You leave a phone charger plugged in the wall with the cord, that dog gone. It's gone. He's like, I bought more damn phone charging cables in the last year of my life.
It's so fast. It's like. He was just gone 2 minutes. I'm like, and he comes running back like, I ain't did nothing.
I'm like, I'm looking at what you did. What are you talking about, dude? All right. This week's game is called Ofer, and it's a tribute to the Ofer game that Tyrese Halliburton put up in Game 5 of the NBA Finals. I'm going to give you guys a question about an absolutely terrible performance. We'll see if you guys can get the team, the answer, the player affiliated with this question. So we're going to start with Robert Horry. The first one that comes to mind is a star member of the Heat who went scoreless in Game 7 of the 2013 Finals. LeBron and Battier did enough, though, to win that game. He went 0 for 5 from the field, 0 for 1 from three-point, and put up 0 points in a deciding Game 7 of the 2013 Finals. Who was it?
What's this dude's name that came from Toronto? What's his damn name? Shit. I can't think of his damn name.
2013. So
2013 NBA Finals.
Was it?
I think they won. I think the Heat won in bookends.
They
right?
did. They did.
What's his damn name? Crap.
I feel like you know it, but you can't put it together.
I can't think of his damn name.
We're talking about James Jones, are we?
No, the tall dude that came from Toronto.
Oh, we're talking about Chris Bosh.
Chris Bosh.
It was Chris Bosh.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I should give you a point on that or not. It was kind of assisted. But
Georgia Tech legend Chris Bosh.
Yeah.
They killed him after what he was doing after he won the championship with the bottle.
Yep. Yeah, that was a little wild.
And because he went scoreless in Game 7. Didn't score a single point in the whole game.
Hey, man.
It happens, man. All right, Harper.
Yo.
Ryan Leaf is synonymous with horrible big game performances. Obviously, an NFL bust.
Yeah, was taking over Peyton Manning, too.
None greater than his third professional start, where he was the number 2 pick in the draft, and he posted a passer rating of 0.0. The lowest passer rating possible. He went 1 for 15 with a total of 4 yards passing, 2 interceptions, and 3 fumbles.
Golly.
For what team?
Ryan Leaf?
Yeah, what team did Ryan Leaf play for?
Was this the Chargers?
Was the San Diego Chargers.
I thought this was a trick question at one point. I don't remember playing with the Chargers.
A lot of people talk about Ryan Leaf, but a lot of people don't remember he played for the Stars of the Chargers.
Hot garbage.
Oh, awful. Absolutely awful.
Hold on, he was the number 2. Was Peyton the number 1?
I think so, yes.
Okay, I know why I thought he was taking over Peyton. Yeah, that's right.
All right, Robert Horry. Let's go to Tim Hardaway. Had himself a night in December of 1991. In a game in December of 1991 against the Minnesota Timberwolves, Hardaway set an NBA record going 0 for 17 from the field. Surprisingly, his team still went on to win 106-102 in overtime. What team at the time was Tim Hardaway playing for?
I'm going to go with the Miami Heat.
It was not the Miami Heat. Brandon Harper, December of 1991, Hardaway goes 0 for 17 for what team?
Oh, shit.
Tim Hardaway?
It might come back to you, Rob. Hang on to it.
It sounded like it did. Oh, it sounded like the
I'm
answer
saying
came back to
if you don't get it right, it's going back to Rob. So.
Was it the West or the East?
Oh, what are we looking? We're looking for clues now. What is this?
The only thing I can do is ask.
Did the team wear blue? Yeah, like, what are you looking for here?
It wasn't the Warriors, was it?
It was the Golden State
State Warriors.
Warriors.
Okay.
Good job. Yeah, good.
I was thinking of Run TMC.
Yep.
I went to 91. I looked. Oh shit! In 91, he was still with
He
the
was
Warriors.
with Golden
in
State.
91.
92, he went to the Heat. Yep. All right, Robert Horry. Oh no, that was Rob's question. Harper.
Yeah, it was Harper.
Len Dawson is an NFL Hall of Fame quarterback, best known for his Super Bowl IV MVP. He won 3 AFL championships, but he also holds the record for the most fumbles in an NFL game. With how many? How many fumbles in an NFL game did Len Dawson have to set the record?
Was it 6?
It was not 6. Rob?
8.
It was not 8. Harper?
10.
No, it's not 10.
That would be a record.
Rob, it's not 5. Harper?
7.
There it is, 7. I'm like, you guys went
Well, somewhere in that
6, 8,
vicinity.
10. I'm like, no, split the diff, man. Head to the middle. 7 fumbles in an NFL game.
I was close
He
the
took
first
the
time.
Cowboys.
I don't know if he did. Yeah, I think he
Dawson
might have.
was,
Right, Dawson?
what year was this?
This was, it didn't say what year, but he was best known for his Super Bowl IV MVP. So a long time ago.
Yeah.
So we're talking the 60s and 70s.
Before I've even thought of it.
All right, Robert Horry. Hitting a baseball is supposedly one of the hardest tasks in all of sports. But if you're getting paid $8 million to do it, like Jeff Jenkins was for the Milwaukee Brewers, you probably find a way to do it. In a game against the Anaheim Angels, Jenkins became one of only 8 players in Major League Baseball history to strike out how many times in a single game?
5.
It was not 5.
6.
It was 6. 6 times in a single game is the Major League Baseball record for strikeouts. 0
suck
for
at this
6
game.
with 6 strikeouts. Oh,
I
dreadful.
got one question right. Here.
All right, well, we got a few more, so let's see what we do. Harper, in one of the worst performances in NFL playoff history, Jake Delhomme threw 5 interceptions and lost 1 fumble against the Arizona Cardinals. For what team was he playing for?
Jake Delhomme. You didn't give the year, did you?
I did not give the year.
I think it was the Panthers.
It was the Carolina Panthers.
Jake Delhomme. Jake
By the
Delhomme.
way, Jake Delhomme, 5 interceptions and a fumble on his birthday.
Louisiana's
Damn.
finest. Jake Delhomme.
Jake
Hey, he's
Delhomme.
probably hungover.
Yeah, exactly right. It's freaking.
Hey.
We'll party the
He
night
was
before.
fried.
Hell of a leader, though. All guys that play with him say he's a hell of a leader.
Not a great player, but hell of
He
a
was
leader.
okay. He was an okay
He was
quarterback.
okay player. All right, Rob. In 2010, days off of a record-setting performance in Game 2 of the NBA Finals, what Boston Celtics star shot a miserable 0 for 13? 1 miss shy of the worst finals shooting performance in NBA history. This was in 2010. Huge Game 2, and then went 0 for 13.
I'm gonna go with Rondo.
I was not Rondo. Harper.
Because I think I know who it is, but I just can't think of his fucking name right now.
Come on now.
I can't think of nobody's name today, man.
2010.
2010 Boston
Oh,
Celtics.
wait, I got it now.
So that was
0 for 13 in the NBA Finals.
that wasn't Ray, was it?
It was Ray Allen. You're absolutely
I couldn't
right.
think of
Good
Ray's
job.
name at first. I was like,
Yeah.
it's Ray Allen.
It
Because
was-
Game 2 hit the big shot, and now it's Ray Allen.
And if I'm not mistaken, today is the day that he hit the big shot, the anniversary of the day he hit the shot with the Heat to tie that game against the Spurs in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
He had that big shot. I think that happened today.
Yeah.
All right, last question. Brandon Harper. This is a Robert Horry related question. In Game 7s don't get any bigger than the NBA Finals. Some players rise to the occasion, other players crumble. And then there's guys like this, who in Game 7 of the 1994 NBA Finals went 2 for 18, including 0 for 10 in the fourth, during the Rockets' 90-84 victory. Who was it? I'm not giving you the team he was playing for, because you should be able to figure it out.
You said the 94?
1994 NBA Finals, Game 7. goes 2 for 18, including 0 for 10 in the fourth quarter, as the Rockets win the NBA title. He played for the other team.
94.
He got killed for this.
Oh, got destroyed for it. And I was up in the Northeast, too, so I remember this.
94.
Who'd they beat?
So Jordan was out. Did y'all beat the Knicks?
Did beat the Knicks.
Was this Patrick Ewing?
It was not Patrick
Oh.
Ewing. Rob?
John Starks.
John.
Oh, Starks. Okay, my bad.
0 for 10 in the fourth quarter against Robert Horry and the
And that
Rockets.
motherfucker kept shooting.
Oh, no, yeah.
That motherfucker-
There was no
that
stopping
motherfucker-
him.
Hey, the way he was shooting, you thought that motherfucker was hot.
So
Like, damn.
if John Starks was going to be my second choice,
Yeah.
but it should have been my first, obviously.
Obviously.